Thank you, everybody. Please join me in welcoming Haben Girma.
Testing, is the mic working? Oh, no, it's not working. How do we get it working? Oh, it's working now. Excellent. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm deafblind. I have limited vision and hearing. All throughout my life, I've been seeking ways to maximize my ability to connect with people. I can't see the people in the audience, and I can't hear audience feedback. There's always an alternative way. If one way doesn't work, you can find another way that'll work. And I found a solution that allows me to get audience feedback so I can connect with the audience. I'm holding up a Braille computer. On the bottom are dots. I run my fingers over the dots to feel the letters. Up front, we have interpreters who are typing on a keyboard. As they type, their words pop up in Braille. When you said, "Good morning," they typed, "Good morning!" exclamation mark. So throughout my talk, they're going to be giving visual and audio feedback from the audience. When people smile, laugh, fall asleep, they're watching you. My name is Haben. The name Haben comes from Eritrea. It's a small African country. Ethiopia borders to the south, and to the north is the Red Sea. My mother grew up during the war between Eritrea and Ethiopia. There was a lot of violence, a lot of fear. Schools were places for students to come together and learn stories from around the world. Stories are powerful. Stories influence the organizations we design, the products we build, and the futures we imagine for ourselves. She heard stories that America is the land of opportunity, America is the land of civil rights, and the stories inspired her to take the dangerous journey walking from Eritrea to Sudan. It took about 3 weeks. She was a refugee in Sudan for about 10 months. Then a refugee organization helped her come to the United States. Several years later, older, wiser, my mother realized it's not geography that creates justice. It's people that create justice. Communities create justice. All of us. Thank you for the applause. As the daughter of refugees, a Black woman, disabled, lots of stories say my life doesn't matter. I resist those stories. I define what disability means to me. The dominant narrative is disability creates a burden on society. I see disability as an opportunity for innovation. When you have a challenge, it's an opportunity to come up with a new solution. That new solution can help the entire community, both disabled and non-disabled. For businesses, this is a really incredible opportunity. People with disabilities are one of the largest minority groups, over 1.3 billion people with disabilities around the world. That's a huge market. It's smart business to tap into this market. A lot of companies only think about disability as charity, maybe later when they have more free time, but the time to think about access is now. Imagine if you built a skyscraper, then after the project was completed, you realized, hey, we should have an elevator. And you tear down part of the building to install an elevator. That takes more time and resources than planning for access from the start. That principle applies to all aspects of accessibility and inclusion. If you're building a new program, a new product, new service, design with access in mind. That way, your products are better, they reach a larger market, and your organization grows in the long run and is more likely to come up with something innovative. I'm going to share some examples. Next slide. We have a video that shows sign language. Sign language is actually a form of innovation. Deaf communities all over the world have come up with visual-based languages. If you cannot hear language, you can create a visual language. And if you can't hear or see language, you can create a tactile language. In the video, there's tactile sign language. A young man is signing. I'm holding my hands over his hands to feel his signs. And there are different sign languages all over the world. The dominant one in the US is American Sign Language. In France is French Sign Language. Across the pond in the UK, they have a completely different language, and it makes no sense to me. They call it British Sign Language. Back before the internet existed as we know it today, deaf people struggled to communicate long distance. Vint Cerf is one of the fathers of the internet. He's deaf, hard of hearing. He worked on the earliest email protocol. And email is a way for deaf people to send messages without straining to hear over the phone. Hearing people also use email. Lots of people use email. If you take a disability challenge, design for it, you're going to come up with a new product that'll be the next big thing, benefiting both the disabled and non-disabled community. Disability drives innovation. Next slide. Another form of communication is dance. In salsa dancing, there are many signals that people communicate through their hands, through their bodies. Our skin is one of our largest organs. We have the ability to develop tactile intelligence. A lot of people ignore this and don't pay attention to it, but there's an opportunity here. And I'm really excited by the possibility of technology and haptics, the communication of information through touch, and all the different things we could develop here if we tap in to our ability to gather information through touch. And people with disabilities, especially the blind community, can help further innovations in this field. When I was growing up, I was taken out of many physical education courses because people assumed I wouldn't be able to participate. Then in middle school, I went to a camp for the blind and took a dance class. There was a blind dance instructor, and she showed me salsa, swing, merengue, all through touch. I can't hear the beat of the music when I'm dancing, but I can feel it through people's hands and shoulders. My disability doesn't prevent me from dancing. Communities prevent me from dancing. I've tried going to a salsa club in DC, and they tried to turn me away at the door, saying service dogs are not allowed. That's really frustrating. My guide dog, sleeping on stage, is very well behaved. So disability is not the barrier. It's society that puts up barriers. And it's up to all of us to work together to remove those barriers. The default is no access. To create access, you need to take affirmative steps to remove barriers. And this happens in all kinds of different fields. One of my favorite examples is from my high school teacher. She approached me one day and asked, "Would you like to try surfing?" And I thought to myself, how can a blind person surf? I told her, sure, let's give it a try. So she introduced me to a program that does tandem surfing. Next slide. In this video, I'm tandem surfing with an instructor, and he is on the board, on the back of the board, I'm on the front of the board, and the instructor helps steer around other surfers and sharks. I loved the experience, so I took it to the next level, and I asked around for surfing schools, and they all told me, we've never heard of a deaf-blind surfer. Then I found one school that said, we've never heard of a deaf-blind surfer, but let's try, let's figure it out. So we had a lesson. Next slide. And here we're surfing side by side, each of us on our own board. Inclusion is possible, you just need to be creative and thoughtful. Next slide. Then I tried surfing in Hawaii, and in this video, my dog watches anxiously as I ride a wave by myself for the first time. The instructors found that they learned more about surfing when they tried engaging with it from a tactile perspective. Our understanding of our world deepens when we engage with the disability perspective. Next slide. In 2010, I entered Harvard Law School. They told me, we've never had a deaf-blind student before. And I told them, I've never been to Harvard Law School before. We didn't know what the challenges would be. We didn't know what the solutions would be. We engaged in an interactive process to find those solutions. Don't be afraid of the unknown. The unknown is an opportunity to learn, grow, and innovate new solutions. I graduated in 2013, and now I work as a disability rights advocate, advocating for greater inclusion. Next slide. This is our final slide. Again, my name is Haben. The name Haben means pride in Tigrinya, the language of Eritrea. Take pride in your differences. Don't be ashamed on those things you struggle with, because they give us strength. And I have a book that outlines my story that's coming out in August, and you can support by pre-ordering the book. We have a break now after this. I'm going to be in the front row, and if people have any questions or want to say hi, please come and do so. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Haben.